Why your ex is acting cold. Sometimes it's very frequent to see communication or the behavior of your ex, of someone, perhaps the person you love the most, acting in a different way, being very cold, being very distant, almost mean with you. And there is a reason why they could be cold. There is a reason why there's sometimes a shift in terms of the dynamic of the communication, regardless whether the breakup was a difficult one or just a respectful one. I'll explain everything after the jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
The first reason, and I see that sometimes, that person is simply not into you. It happens most of the time for a short-term relationship where you don't want to invest anymore in the relationship, and your partner with whom you broke up with doesn't understand that you want to end the relationship. Also, long-term relationship where we can categorize them as non-recoverable relationship. There's few criteria to meet in order to fit in that category. One way to see whether your relationship can be recovered or not is whether your relationship is more or less 3 to 6 months. In that case, you're wasting your time probably. If it's more than 6 months, take the quiz to know if you have any chance of getting back with your ex. I'm saying about this length of relationship by experience, and my clients, I usually help them when they have been together for a while because we can leverage that history together. And so they could be just ghosting or blocking you at this stage. They decided to use this less aggressive form of communication, but it's a way to say, okay, my time together is gone and I want to move on. And that's how they express this. Second reason your ex could be cold with you is that they have what we call an avoidant attachment style. So avoidant people, they tend to avoid and dismiss emotion, avoid confrontation and dismiss emotion. Also a strong ability to mask. So sometimes they might be sad or depressed, but they don't show it. They have this very, I used to be avoidant and I used to be, to like the fact that I could be cool as a cucumber and I have this poker face. I've learned through therapy that it's not really helpful when you have a relationship. But also the thing with avoidant people is that they feel comfortable in a relationship within an arm length, okay? And one way to describe an avoidant, you could say they're cold, they're distant, aloof, detached. And it's also applicable when you are in a relationship with a dismissive avoidant. So when you break up with those people, perhaps they are slightly more distant. One thing about dismissive avoidant, and they are really bad at communication. And that's why it's so important, if you are dismissive avoidant, to learn more about communication and to learn more about your emotions, because it's the only way for you to connect with your partner. And as they don't understand emotion, it's hard for them to express those emotions. It's hard for them to relate to what you're going through. Not that they don't love you, it's just that they can't really understand and see the things from your point of view. Did you do something wrong? So sometimes we have this treatment. They felt disrespected and they want to get back at you. It's could be childish, it could be immature, I get it, but sometimes we feel that I need to express something to my ex. He or she didn't understand when we were together, now we've broken up, and I need to send that message. So perhaps it's a very inefficient way, I do agree, to set boundaries. Be aware of this type of behaviors, really try to speak with a friend, with a therapist, to see whether this is a toxic thing or just a way for your ex to communicate things that you perhaps missed throughout the relationship or after the breakup. One other thing is very common, they are masking sadness. Very frequent. You might not feeling this way. You might be thinking, no, I'm sure he moved on. It's crazy, or he or she actually. I spoke with him or her, or I saw him or her, and they moved on. They don't love me anymore. They're distant. They don't care anymore. Some people are really good at masking, are really good at pretending. If you've been in a relationship, again, what I call a recoverable relationship, you can't leave that relationship without any emotions. That person meant something to you, and you meant something to that person. If they're able to detach this way and don't care about you, this person is not the right person for you, and you shouldn't try to get back with them. So being cold is a way to make sure that they don't let their emotions out. They don't want to come as weak because they took the decision to break up with you. And so leaving the door open to more emotion and intimacy would lead to perhaps, starting again, getting back together. So the thing is, what you have to understand is acting cold. Remember the acting. It's so important. It's not by engaging, by confronting your ex that you will get them to warm up a little bit. It's actually the other way around. It's because they feel the situation is a bit awkward. They are in touch with you, but they don't necessarily know how to communicate with you. So give them some space. Use effective communication. And what will happen is as soon as they feel more at ease, less pressured, they will open up. They will warm up. Okay? Most of the time, if your relationship is recoverable, this is a temporary phase. This is just, a couple of weeks, a couple of months when they feel, okay, I don't know exactly how to communicate. I don't know what should be the new normal with that person because we had so many things together. Our life was so intrinsically connected that now being apart is really hard for me. And there's no other way for me to communicate than being cold and distant. Okay, but it's temporary. If you do the right things, if you give them space and use effective communication, this will be temporary and they will warm up. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to get in touch with me. There are links in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.